So deep in the forests of Southeast Asia, there's this tiny primate with absolutely enormous eyes, and it just leaps through the night. It's a survivor, really, a living link to a lineage that's 45 million years old. Today, we're going to zero in on the incredible tarsier.
I mean, just look at those eyes. Seriously, each one is as large as its brain. And get this, they're fixed in their sockets. So a tarsier can't just glance around like we do. Nope. It has to rotate its entire head, almost like an owl, up to 180 degrees in either direction. It's this incredible adaptation that makes it a master nocturnal hunter, perfectly designed for spotting prey in the pitch-black jungle.
But, tarsiers are so much more than just their eyes. People often call them living fossils. And why is that? It's because their basic form has stayed pretty much the same for millions of years. Studying them is like looking through a time capsule into our planet's deep evolutionary past. It's pretty amazing.
Now, the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia, it's a real hotspot for tarsier diversity. So let's go on a little virtual tour to meet 5 distinct species. Each one has its own unique characteristics, a very specific habitat, and, unfortunately, a different fight for survival.
Okay, first up, we have the spectral tarsier. This is the most widespread on all the species we're going to meet today. You can find it all across the sprawling island of Sulawesi and even on its smaller neighbors.
The spectral tarsier is actually remarkably adaptable. I mean, this tiny primate, it weighs just over 100 grams, and it can survive in pristine forests, areas that have been disturbed, and even in plantations. But here's the paradox, right? Despite all that flexibility, its official status is vulnerable. So why is that?
Well, the threats are coming from all sides. Its home is being cleared for farms, cut down by logging operations, and mined for cement. It's also threatened by pesticides, and what's really tragic is that it's often captured for the illegal pet trade, especially up in North Sulawesi.
Now, in really stark contrast, we have the Makassar tarsier. Just look at its range here. It's not found all over the island at all. It's what we call endemic to a very, very small pocket of southwest Sulawesi. And this incredibly limited range, it makes it especially fragile.
Physically, it really stands out with its brown coat, that cream-colored belly, and a distinctly bushy tail tip. Because it's endemic, it's legally protected under Indonesian law. But, as we're about to see, protection on paper doesn't always guarantee safety out there in the wild.
For the Makassar tarsier, the danger is singular and just overwhelming. It's the destruction of its habitat from illegal logging. That's it, a single threat with a potentially devastating outcome.
All right, from the lowlands, we're now traveling way up high into the mountains of central Sulawesi to find our next species, the incredibly elusive pygmy tarsier. Now, this is a true specialist, perfectly adapted to a life in those cold, misty mountain forests.
It's one of the smallest tarsiers out there with a body just 9.5 centimeters long, and it lives at altitudes of around 1,800 meters. Because it's so rare and its habitat is so remote, its conservation status is data deficient, which means we simply don't have enough information to even know how close it is to extinction.
And that's what is so concerning here. We know its population is going down, but the specific threats, they're still a mystery. And if you don't understand the danger, it's incredibly difficult to design an effective plan to save them.
Next up, let's meet the Larian tarsier, which is named for the river valley it calls home. And just like the Makassar tarsier, this species is also endemic to a specific region. You can only find it in west-central Sulawesi.
You can tell it apart by its darker fur and these really prominent dark circles around its eyes. It gives it this kind of masked appearance. And unfortunately, like the more widespread spectral tarsier, its population is in decline, earning it a vulnerable status.
And here we go again, a devastatingly common theme. Once again, the primary threat is habitat loss from illegal logging. For so many of these species, their entire world is literally being cut down from around them.
Our final tarsier is Wallace's tarsier, and it was named in honor of the great naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace, who actually did so much of his groundbreaking work right here in this very region. This species, it seems to be a real survivor. It's adaptable. You can find it everywhere from pristine forests to degraded lands and even urban areas. But here's that paradox again. Despite being so adaptable, its status is data deficient, just like that high-altitude pygmy tarsier. We just don't know enough about its population trends yet. And even for a creature this adaptable, there's a breaking point. The number one threat it faces is the large-scale conversion of rainforests into plantations. It doesn't matter how adaptable you are. You can't survive when your entire ecosystem is just wiped out and replaced.
So, we've just met 5 incredible ancient primates. Yet every single one of them is facing a modern crisis. And a huge, huge part of that crisis is that almost nobody knows they exist, let alone that they're in trouble.
Just take a look at this. A survey asked the public a really simple question. Do you know where tarsiers live? An incredible 98% of the people who responded had no idea. 98%! That's staggering.
And this lack of awareness, it extends to their plight. When people were asked about the threats tarsiers face, a full 90% were completely unaware of the dangers. And you can't save what you don't even know is in danger.
This anonymity, it has a real-world cost. To put it into perspective, data for a related species, Diane's tarsier, shows that it lost 30% of its habitat in just 2 decades. That's what happens when no one is watching. The forests disappear, and so do the animals inside them.
So let's summarize the bottom line. This is our final briefing, the official conservation status for the 5 species we've just met. And honestly, it paints a really concerning picture for their survival.
So 2 of the 5 species are officially classified as vulnerable, meaning they face a high risk of extinction in the wild. 2 others are data deficient, which is a terrifying label that means they could be even worse off, but we just lack the research to prove it. So immediate action is needed for the vulnerable, and urgent research is absolutely critical for the unknown.
You know, tarsiers have survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, all kinds of dramatic changes to our planet over 45 million years. They are true survivors of a lost world. But the final question this all leaves us with is a simple one. After all that time, can they survive us?